The idea behind subtractive drawing is that you're going to erase away parts of your toned paper. So you'll start out with a box that's the same size as your reference image, and then use your willow charcoal to just fill in the box with an even layer of charcoal. And you can use your finger or you can use a paper towel to then blend that out. You're really trying to get a nice even layer of gray. I like to do two layers because then I can ensure that it's nice and even. So again, just another layer of charcoal on top, and then use your um, paper towel to blend it and make it smooth. Then I'm grabbing my kneaded eraser, and what I'm looking for here are the big shapes of the lightest values. So squint your eyes at the reference image. That's going to help it kind of get blurry. And then you won't be focusing on the details, but you're just looking for those big shapes of your lightest values. And then as you can see, I'm erasing away those chunks. I like to call this carving out your shapes of light values. I'm keeping it really basic and simple. This is not trying to look like anything yet. I'm just working from the really simple big shapes of white values first, and that includes the background, the table, that kind of left side of the cups, and then the right inside of the teacup at the top. Next, I'm using the willow charcoal, and I'm going back in to my drawing, and I'm kind of creating an edge by shading it right alongside that where I carved out the top of the teacups. And I'm only looking at the negative space right now. I'm not even worried about the cups yet. I'm just working around the cups and kind of creating the edge of the cups by surrounding them with a background. Again, I'm squinting at the reference image and I'm trying to simplify it. And I'm just looking for the big basic shapes of my darkest black values. So you can see in the cast shadows here in the background, I haven't even started in on the cups yet at all. And you really, I'm going to say it again, you're going to want to work from simple to complex. I've moved into the cup a little bit. I've just found that little area of kind of the darkest shadow. And then I'm uh, creating the edge of the handle there by kind of going around the outside, adding a little bit of detail into the top of the cup and kind of creating an edge there. And then using the kneaded eraser to once again carve out more details and more highlights. I use my willow charcoal here to kind of gauge the angle and check myself and make sure that I'm not making the wrong, inaccurate marks. Um, again, just kind of building up the middle gray values within the body of the cup itself. I also like to form my kneaded eraser into a little point and get kind of smaller detail areas. You might have noticed that I was working upside down when I started this. And I actually encourage you to turn your work periodically, turn your whole work with the reference image upside down because it helps you see things that you didn't see before and kind of turn off that symbol system part of your brain, which is, telling you should see these things as rounded objects. So this is just a way to check yourself and make sure that you're looking at things as shapes of value, not as this 3D form that you're trying to create. Finally, I'm moving to my charcoal pencil, and I'm really waiting until I've done everything I can do with my willow charcoal and with the kneaded eraser, because the charcoal pencil is going to add more refined details, and it's also a lot harder to erase. So you want to reserve it for those super dark areas and for more defined little details in your drawing. Since I know that background is the blackest black that I have, I am just kind of using the charcoal pencil to continue shading and building up that dark value in the background. And then I also know that that cast shadow is super dark as well. Forming my kneaded eraser into a little edge and getting those smaller light areas and details in the teacups as well. Now, pretty much the last thing that I do is I grab the white charcoal pencil. The white charcoal pencil is just going to be the little bit of sparkle for your drawing. So you really should not use this too heavily. You should only be using it to add those really defined little define little marks of highlight and the very whitest part of your drawings. Most of your light area should be carved away by using that kneaded eraser. So again, I'm just kind of adding a little bit of sparkle, a little bit of bling to my drawings, and it's just going to pop a bit. And then finishing up by shading in the rest of the background with my charcoal. I also use the kneaded eraser just to kind of clean up the edges before I finish and spray it with hairspray.